Captain Jack Reynolds stood on the bridge of his flagship, the resolute eyes locked on the massive alien armada approaching. "They have no idea what's coming," he muttered, a grim smile playing on his lips. "No rules in war, people. Let's show them what that means." The human fleet, a ragtag assembly of retrofitted ships and patched-up fighters, hovered at the edge of the contested territory. The strategic point, a space station rich in resources, glimmered in the distance. This was more than just a battle for territory. It was a fight for survival. "Status report," Reynolds barked. Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, his second in command, glanced up from her console. "All systems are operational, Captain. The fleet is ready, but we're outnumbered at least 3-1. Reynolds nodded, his mind already racing through a dozen scenarios. "Good, that's just the way I like it." Across the vast expanse, the alien fleet, led by Commander Thrax, appeared in perfect formation. The sleek silver ships of the alien armada gleamed, a stark contrast to the patched and battle-worn human vessels. Reynolds opened a secure channel to his fleet. "This is it, folks. Remember, there are no rules out here. Use every trick, every tactic. Let's remind them why humanity is not to be underestimated." Mitchell's brow furrowed as she turned to him. "Sir, you sure about this?" Kamikaze tactics could be seen as reckless. Reynolds met her gaze with unwavering determination. "Reckless or not, it's our best shot. They won't expect it." As the alien fleet closed in, Reynolds issued his first order. "Alpha Squadron, prepare for attack run Delta. Initiate on my mark." The tension on the bridge was palpable. Every officer knew the stakes. As the alien ships drew nearer, Reynolds gave the command, "Mark." Alpha Squadron, a group of nimble fighters, broke formation and accelerated towards the enemy. Their movements were erratic, unpredictable. The alien ships hesitated, momentarily thrown off by the unorthodox approach. "Deploy the decoys," Reynolds ordered. From the Resolute, a swarm of decoy drones launched, creating confusion among the alien ranks. The sleek alien cruisers, following their strict protocols, attempted to target the drones, wasting precious time. "Captain, enemy cruisers are targeting the decoys," Mitchell reported, a hint of awe in her voice. "Just as planned," Reynolds replied. "Now, Alpha Squadron, break off and engage the secondary targets." The human fighters darted between the alien ships, launching surprise attacks on exposed flanks. The aliens, unaccustomed to such chaos, struggled to maintain their formation. "Lieutenant, initiate electronic warfare protocol. Let's scramble their communications," Reynolds commanded. Mitchell's fingers flew over the console. "Yes, sir. Engaging now." A wave of electronic interference washed over the battlefield, jamming the alien fleet's communications. Panic began to spread among the alien ranks as their rigid command structure started to fracture. Commander Thrax, observing the battlefield from his command ship, clenched his jaw. "What is this madness?" he growled. "Regroup and counterattack. Do not let them disrupt our formation." But it was too late. The human fleet, exploiting the confusion, pressed their advantage. Reynolds watched as one of the alien cruisers, disoriented and isolated, fell prey to a concentrated human assault. "Captain, Cruiser 7 is going in for a kamikaze run," Mitchell reported, her voice tense. Reynolds nodded grimly. May they find peace in their sacrifice. Cruiser 7, its engines burning bright, accelerated towards the largest alien battleship. The alien ship's defenses fired desperately, but Cruiser 7, piloted by a crew ready to give their lives, impacted the battleship with a cataclysmic explosion. The shockwave rippled through the alien formation, causing further chaos. "Direct hit," Mitchell said, awe evident in her tone. "The alien battleship is severely damaged." Reynolds allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. "Good. Now, let's hit them where it hurts. Focus all firepower on their command ship." As the human fleet redirected their attacks, Thrax's command ship shuddered under the barrage. The alien commander, now fully realizing the extent of human unpredictability, struggled to adapt. "Captain, the enemy is regrouping for a counterattack," Mitchell warned. Reynolds' eyes narrowed. "Prepare the reserve fleet for a flanking maneuver. We'll hit them from the side when they least expect it." The reserve fleet, hidden in a nearby asteroid field, emerged and moved into position. The aliens, focused on the frontal assault, were blindsided by the sudden attack from the flanks. Alien ships began to fall back, their once perfect formation in disarray. "Keep up the pressure," Reynolds shouted. "We've got them on the run." The bridge erupted in cheers as the alien fleet, unable to cope with the humans' unconventional tactics, began to retreat. Thrax's voice crackled over the comms, a rare tone of respect in his words. "This isn't over, Captain Reynolds. We will meet again." Reynolds smirked. "Looking forward to it, Thrax." As the alien ships disappeared into the void, Reynolds turned to his crew. "Well done, everyone. This was just the beginning. We've shown them that humanity fights without rules, and we fight to win." Mitchell, a newfound respect in her eyes, nodded. "What's our next move, Captain?" Reynolds gazed at the strategic point now firmly in their control. "We fortify our position and prepare for their return. They won't know what hit them." His eyes scanning the flickering holograms of the alien fleet. The bridge of the Resolute buzzed with controlled chaos as his crew prepared for the next move. He turned to Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, his second in command, whose cautious nature often served as a counterbalance to his bold strategies. "Lieutenant, it's time to rattle their cage," Reynolds said, a determined edge in his voice. Mitchell nodded, understanding the plan, but still wary. "Electronic warfare team, initiate the disruption sequence." The crew moved swiftly. On the screens before them, the alien fleet's neat formation began to waver as their communications systems flickered and went dark. The rigid structure that the alien commander Thrax relied on so heavily started to show cracks. Reynolds smiled grimly. "Let's see how they handle a little chaos." As the electronic warfare team continued their assault, the bridge lights dimmed slightly, the hum of the ship's engines, a constant reminder of the thin line between order and chaos. Reynolds watched the alien ships react with confusion, their tightly knit formation unraveling as they struggled to re-establish communication. "Captain, we're picking up erratic movements in their fleet," Mitchell reported. "They're trying to regroup, but our interference is effective." "Good. Now let's push them further." Reynolds activated the ship's communication array. "Broadcast false coordinates and troop movements on all channels. Make them chase ghosts." The Resolute systems hummed as false data streams flooded the alien channels, creating phantom signals and misleading information. On the main screen, the alien ships split into smaller groups, each chasing a different phantom target. Thrax, on his flagship, felt his frustration mount. He slammed a fist on the armrest of his command chair. "Re-establish communication protocols. Find out where those humans really are." His officers scrambled to obey, but the human tactics were unlike anything they had prepared for. Thrax's disciplined exterior cracked under the pressure of unpredictability, a stark contrast to the composed figure he usually presented. Reynolds, observing the chaos, gave his next order. "Prepare for a direct assault. We'll hit them while they're scattered." Mitchell hesitated. "Captain, are you sure? We're still outnumbered." Reynolds met her gaze with unwavering confidence. "That's exactly why we need to strike now. When they're confused, they're vulnerable." The Resolute surged forward, its engines roaring to life. The human fleet followed, slipping through the gaps in the alien formation. As they closed in, Reynolds ordered the release of drones armed with electronic jamming devices, further sowing confusion among the alien ranks. The first volley of laser fire from the Resolute struck an alien cruiser's exposed flank, sending sparks and debris flying. The alien ship listed to one side, its systems overloaded by the combined assault of physical and electronic attacks. "Target down, Captain," Mitchell reported, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and excitement. Reynolds allowed himself a brief smile. "Keep it up. We're not done yet." On the alien flagship, Thrax watched in disbelief as his ship struggled against the human onslaught. "This is unacceptable," he muttered. "They're using every dirty trick in the book." One of his officers turned, desperation in his eyes. "Commander, we need to adapt. Their tactics are unconventional." Thrax clenched his fists. "We fight with honor. We will not stoop to their level." Back on the Resolute, Reynolds and his crew continued their assault, hitting hard and fast. The alien fleet's initial confusion had given the humans a much-needed advantage, but Reynolds knew it wouldn't last forever. "Mitchell, how's our supply of jamming drones?" "Running low, Captain. We need to conserve what we have left." Reynolds nodded. "Understood. Let's switch to psychological operations. Start broadcasting their own distress signals back at them. Make them think they're surrounded." As the false distress signals began to play on the alien frequencies, panic started to spread. Alien pilots and commanders, hearing cries for help and urgent commands from what they believed were their own ships, faltered. The Resolute's bridge was tense but focused. Every officer knew the stakes. They watched as the alien formation began to disintegrate further, ships peeling off in random directions, unsure where the real threat lay. "Captain, incoming transmission from the alien flagship," Mitchell said, surprise evident in her voice. "It's Commander Thrax." Reynolds raised an eyebrow. "Put it through." Thrax's image appeared on the main screen, his expression a mix of anger and reluctant respect. "Captain Reynolds, you fight without honor, using deception and chaos. This is not how wars are meant to be fought." Reynolds met his gaze evenly. "War isn't about honor, Commander. It's about survival. And we'll do whatever it takes to protect our people." Thrax's eyes narrowed. "You may have the upper hand now, but this isn't over." The transmission cut off, and Reynolds turned back to his crew. "Prepare for their counterattack. They'll come at us harder now, but we've got them on the ropes." The alien fleet began to regroup, their movements more coordinated, but still hindered by the remnants of the electronic disruption. The Resolute and the human fleet pressed their advantage, striking at weak points and retreating before the aliens could mount a proper defense. As the battle raged on, Reynolds knew this was only the beginning. The psychological warfare had given them an edge, but it was their adaptability and refusal to play by the rules that would win the day. "Stay sharp, everyone," he called out. "This fight's not over until we've secured that strategic point." Captain Jack Reynolds stood on the bridge of the Resolute, surveying the chaotic battlefield displayed on the tactical screen. The asteroid field loomed ahead, a labyrinth of jagged rocks and deadly debris. It was the perfect place to turn the tide against the alien fleet. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, whose eyes were glued to her console. "Mitchell, status report," Reynolds ordered. "Enemy fleet is closing in, Captain. They're coming in fast, but their formations are rigid. They won't maneuver well in the asteroid field," Mitchell replied, her voice steady. Reynolds nodded. "Good. That's exactly what we're counting on. All ships, prepare to execute Plan Delta. Lead them into the field and set the traps." As the human fleet entered the asteroid field, the alien ships followed, maintaining their tight formations. The asteroids provided natural cover, but navigating through them required precision and adaptability, something the aliens lacked. "Deploy the mines," Reynolds commanded, "and be ready for evasive maneuvers." The Resolute's crew worked quickly, releasing a barrage of mines disguised as harmless debris. The first wave of alien ships, unprepared for such tactics, stumbled into the minefield. Explosions lit up the dark void, and several alien vessels were instantly crippled. "Direct hits on multiple targets," Mitchell reported with a hint of satisfaction. Their lead ships are taking heavy damage. Reynolds allowed himself a brief smile. Keep up the pressure. Don't let them regroup. The human ships darted in and out of the asteroid cover, using hit-and-run tactics to harass the disoriented alien fleet. The aliens, bound by their rigid protocols, struggled to adapt. Their formation began to break apart under the relentless assault. In the midst of the chaos, Reynolds received a communication from Commander Thrax, whose face appeared on the main screen, marred by frustration and anger. "Captain Reynolds, your tactics are dishonorable. Face us in open combat if you have any sense of honor," Thrax demanded. Reynolds met his gaze evenly. "Honor doesn't win wars, Thrax. Survival does. And we intend to survive." Thrax's image flickered and disappeared as the Resolute executed another evasive maneuver, narrowly avoiding a massive asteroid. Reynolds turned his attention back to the battlefield, his mind racing with possibilities. "Mitchell, I want a status check on our traps. Are they still functional?" "Yes, Captain. Most of the mines are still active, and we've set up decoy beacons to lure more of their ships into the field," Mitchell confirmed. "Excellent. Let's give them another taste," Reynolds said, his eyes gleaming with determination. "All ships, execute Phase 2. The human fleet launched a coordinated assault, drawing the alien ships deeper into the asteroid field. The mines detonated in a symphony of destruction, and the aliens' tight formations proved to be their downfall. Ships collided with asteroids, their shields overwhelmed by the relentless attacks. In the midst of the battle, Reynolds noticed an unexpected movement on the tactical screen. A rogue asteroid, dislodged by the fighting, was hurtling towards both fleets. "Mitchell, get me a trajectory on that asteroid," Reynolds barked. Mitchell's fingers flew over her console. "Impact with our position in 3 minutes, Captain. We need to move. Now." Reynolds knew that this could be both a disaster and an opportunity. "All ships, emergency thrusters. Use the asteroid's momentum to our advantage. Redirect it towards the alien flagship." "Brace for impact," Reynolds muttered, gripping the edge of his chair. The asteroid collided with the alien flagship in a cataclysmic explosion. The flagship's shields flickered and failed, its hull torn apart by the impact. Debris scattered through space, and the alien fleet fell into disarray. "We did it," Mitchell breathed, her eyes wide with amazement. Reynolds nodded, his expression grim. "It's not over yet. Keep up the pressure. We need to push them back while they're disorganized." The human fleet pressed their advantage, launching a relentless assault on the remaining alien ships. The aliens, now leaderless and demoralized, struggled to mount a defense. One by one, their ships were disabled or destroyed. As the battle neared its end, Reynolds received another communication from Thrax, this time a distress call. "Captain Reynolds, we surrender. Cease fire." Thrax's voice was strained, his image flickering on the screen. Reynolds took a deep breath, his gaze steady. "Order all ships to stand down. Prepare to accept their surrender." The human fleet ceased their attack, and the remaining alien ships powered down their weapons. The battlefield fell silent, the only sounds the distant echoes of debris colliding with asteroids. Reynolds turned to Mitchell, a sense of victory and relief washing over him. "We've won this battle, but the war is far from over. Prepare to regroup and assess our damages. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." Mitchell nodded, a faint smile on her lips. "Yes, Captain. And thank you for showing me the value of thinking outside the box." The alien fleet, led by Commander Thrax, loomed on the edge of the screen. Both fleets had taken heavy losses, and the next battle would decide the fate of the contested territory. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, who was meticulously analyzing the data. "Sarah, we need to use everything we've got. This is our last chance," Reynolds said, his voice resolute. Mitchell nodded, her expression determined. "Agreed, Captain. The asteroid field gave us an edge, but we need something more to outmaneuver them this time. Reynolds glanced at the comms officer. Open a channel to Thrax. The view screen flickered, and the stern face of Commander Thrax appeared. His expression was a mix of frustration and respect. Captain Reynolds, I must admit, your tactics have been unexpected. Reynolds allowed himself a brief smile. Thrax, let's end this. We both know our fleets can't take much more. But know this, we will do whatever it takes to secure that point. Thrax's eyes narrowed. Your disregard for rules is maddening, yet effective. Very well, Captain. We will see this through to the end. The channel closed, and Reynolds turned back to his crew. All right, everyone. Time to deploy our final strategy. Mitchell, outline the plan. Mitchell activated the holographic display, showing a multi-pronged assault plan. We'll use our electronic warfare capabilities to create false signals, confusing their sensors. Meanwhile, we'll split our fleet into 3 groups. Group A will engage head-on, drawing their main forces. Group B will flank from the left, using the asteroid debris for cover. Group C, our stealth unit, will circle around and strike their flagship directly. Reynolds nodded. Perfect. Timing and coordination are crucial. Make sure each group is ready. The bridge buzzed with activity as the crew prepared for the assault. Reynolds moved to his command chair, his mind racing through the possibilities. This is it. We either win or lose everything. Minutes later, the fleet was in position. All groups, initiate the plan, Reynolds commanded. Group AE, led by Mitchell, charged forward, weapons blazing. Alien ships met them head-on, their formation rigid but formidable. The battle intensified, with energy beams and missile explosions lighting up the dark void. Group BE, move now. Reynolds ordered. Group B surged from the left, using the asteroid debris as shields. They launched a surprise attack, catching the alien ships off guard. The aliens scrambled to respond, their formation beginning to falter. Electronic warfare team, deploy the false signals, Reynolds said. A series of fake signals erupted across the enemy's sensors, creating phantom targets and adding to the chaos. The alien fleet hesitated, their movements disjointed. Group C, it's your turn, Reynolds said, his voice steady. The stealth unit, equipped with cloaking devices, slipped through the battlefield unnoticed. They navigated behind enemy lines, positioning themselves for the final strike. On the bridge of the Resolute, the tension was palpable. Reynolds watched as Group C closed in on the alien flagship. Hold steady. And now, fire. The stealth unit unleashed a barrage of torpedoes and railgun shots directly at the alien flagship. The initial volley disabled its shields, and a follow-up strike hit the engines, causing massive explosions. Captain, the alien flagship is disabled, Mitchell reported, her voice filled with triumph. Reynolds allowed himself a moment of relief. Well done, everyone. But it's not over yet. Group A and BA press the advantage. All ships focus fire on their remaining forces. The human fleet, reinvigorated by the success of their strategy, intensified their assault. The alien ships, disoriented and leaderless, struggled to mount an effective defense. On the alien bridge, Thrax realized the inevitability of defeat. He activated a communication channel to Reynolds. Captain, you have outmaneuvered us. I concede. Reynolds nodded, respect evident in his eyes. Thrax, it didn't have to come to this. You fought honorably. Thrax gave a curt nod. Perhaps in another life, we could have been allies. But for now, I withdraw my forces. The alien ships began to retreat, and the battlefield fell silent. Cheers erupted on the Resolute as the crew celebrated their hard-won victory. Reynolds stood, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. Mitchell, secure the area and assist any damaged ships. I want a full report on our status, Reynolds ordered. Mitchell smiled, her eyes shining with pride. Yes, Captain. We did it. Reynolds looked around the bridge, seeing the tired but triumphant faces of his crew. You all performed beyond expectations. Today, we showed that flexibility and determination can overcome even the strictest adversaries. As the crew went about their tasks, Reynolds took a moment to look out into the stars. The strategic point was theirs, secured through ingenuity and bravery. The cost had been high, but the victory proved humanity's resilience. The screen chimed with an incoming message from the Galactic Council. The Council leader's holographic image appeared, a look of admiration on his face. Captain Reynolds, your actions today have demonstrated unparalleled bravery and strategic brilliance. Humanity has earned its place among the stars. Reynolds inclined his head. Thank you. The Resolute and her crew stand ready to continue defending our allies and exploring the unknown. The bridge of the Resolute trembled as enemy fire rained down on the hull. Captain Jack Reynolds steadied himself against the command chair, his mind racing with calculations and strategies. Status report, Mitchell, he barked. Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, her face illuminated by the flickering screens, quickly assessed the situation. Shields at 30%, hull integrity compromised on decks 5 and 6. We're losing power in the aft thrusters. Reynolds nodded, his eyes narrowing. We've got one shot at this. Prepare for the maneuver. All hands, brace for impact. The Resolute spun on its axis, narrowly dodging a volley of plasma torpedoes. The ship's remaining thrusters fired in short bursts, guiding it through the chaos of battle. The alien fleet, disoriented by the sudden movements, hesitated. Now, Mitchell, Reynolds ordered. Mitchell's fingers flew across her console, activating the ship's experimental cloaking device. For a few precious seconds, the Resolute vanished from sensors, reappearing behind the enemy flagship. Target their engines, Reynolds commanded. Fire at will. The Resolute unleashed a barrage of missiles and railgun rounds, striking the alien flagship's propulsion systems. Explosions rippled across the enemy vessel, causing it to list heavily to one side. On the alien bridge, Commander Thrax struggled to maintain control. Report, he shouted to his crew. Engines are failing, Commander. The humans, they've outmaneuvered us. Thrax clenched his fists, frustration and respect mingling in his gaze. Prepare for a full retreat. We cannot win this fight. Back on the Resolute, cheers erupted as the alien ships began to withdraw. Reynolds allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction before refocusing on the task at hand. Mitchell, damage report. We've sustained heavy damage, Captain, but we're holding together. The alien fleet is in full retreat. Reynolds exhaled, a weary smile spreading across his face. We did it. Open a channel to all ships. The comms officer nodded, and Reynolds' voice echoed through the fleet. This is Captain Reynolds. The battle is won, but our work isn't over. Begin rescue operations and secure the strategic point. We've proven today that adaptability and courage are our greatest weapons. As the crew of the Resolute moved to their tasks, a message from the Galactic Council came through. The holographic image of the Council leader appeared, their expression one of solemn respect. Captain Reynolds, your victory today has shown us the power of unconventional tactics. Humanity's place among the stars is assured. We extend our deepest gratitude. Reynolds nodded. Thank you. We will continue to defend our allies and seek out new ways to ensure peace and security. As the transmission ended, Reynolds turned to find Thrax, now a prisoner, being escorted onto the bridge. The alien commander stood tall despite his defeat, his gaze meeting Reynolds. Commander Thrax, Reynolds said, his tone respectful. You fought well. Thrax inclined his head. As did you, Captain. Your tactics were unexpected. I have much to learn. Reynolds extended a hand. War isn't about strict rules. It's about survival and adapting to the situation. We can all learn from each other. Thrax grasped Reynolds' hand, a gesture of respect between former enemies. Indeed, perhaps we can find a way to coexist, to share our knowledge and grow stronger together. Reynolds nodded. That's the goal. Together, we can face any threat. As Thrax was led away, Mitchell approached Reynolds, her expression a mix of pride and relief. What now, Captain? Reynolds looked out at the stars, the vast expanse of space, filled with both danger and opportunity. Now we rebuild. We prepare for whatever comes next. And we remember that our strength lies in our ability to adapt and overcome. The Resolute and the rest of the human fleet began the process of securing the strategic points, salvaging what they could from the wreckage of the battle. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair the damage, while medics tended to the wounded. Reynolds walked through the corridors of his ship, seeing the determination and resilience in the faces of his crew. They had faced insurmountable odds and emerged victorious, not through sheer firepower, but through ingenuity and resolve. In the days that followed, the story of the Resolute's victory spread throughout the galaxy. Other species began to reconsider their tactics, adopting more flexible approaches to warfare. The Galactic Council convened to discuss new strategies for interstellar defense, with humanity's input now highly valued. As the Resolute prepared for its next mission, Reynolds stood on the bridge, contemplating the journey ahead. The battles they had fought were just the beginning. The galaxy was vast and filled with unknown challenges, but he was ready to face them head-on. "Set course for the next sector," Reynolds ordered, his voice filled with determination. "Let's show them what humanity is capable of."